spot it. And we were downstairs with the realtor, and we could hear footsteps walking upstairs, and the realtor's like, wait a second, there shouldn't be anybody here. You know, we were the only scheduled showing at that time. So he's like, well, hold on, I'll be right back. And he goes upstairs and looks around. There was nobody there. And he even went outside and looked around, and there was nobody. So he came back downstairs, and he just said, that was strange, there's nobody here. So, you know, I guess none of us thought anything of it at the time.
Right.
And we ended up buying the house, and then about 3 weeks later, we were sitting there actually watching TV, and the kitchen cupboard door opened up on its own. And, you know, the first thing I thought was, okay, maybe it wasn't shut all the way, and it just slowly, you know, creeped open somehow.
Right.
Well, then I got up and I shut it, and then maybe about 20 minutes later, the thing opens up again.
Just like, did it go whoosh open, or did it just go slowly open? Like, slowly open. Was it just like, bam, or?
No, it opened all the way.
Was it fast or slow?
And then the crazy thing is then maybe an hour to an hour and a half later, a different cupboard door on the opposite side of the room opened again also.
Really?
So I knew it wasn't just that door, because I was thinking, okay, maybe it was something with the door, and then, you know, I didn't expect anything else to open, and then you know, later on, that other one opened up. And
so were you a believer in the paranormal?
That's pretty scary.
Were you a believer in the paranormal before you got this house, or were you just, you know, living life and going through?
To be honest, I guess I was 50-50. I had some stuff happen when I was a kid, but I just kind of, you know, disproved it, you know, like, oh, it was nothing. And then pretty much after I moved in here is pretty much what changed my mind, and the stuff, you know, I see out on video and experienced here, so.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, they give you 3 weeks to settle in, and then they're like, doors are going to open. Power doors are going to open.
Well, there's so much activity that's happened here. I mean, I could go on for hours explaining everything that's happened.
Well, that would be fascinating. Do your kids see it? I mean,
yes, I do.
What goes on in your home that started you to become a paranormal investigator? What goes on there?
Well, I mean, just with, you know, with all the stuff that kept happening, I mean, it'd be 2 o'clock in the morning, the TV would come on, or our washer and dryer is actually located in our basement. Well, that would start running, and it would be filling up with water.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, what the heck's going on? You know, it's like 2:30 in the morning.
I'd be like, you know what? I got some pants in the hamper.
I know.
Will you put them in there? You know, don't forget the soap.
Ghosts that do laundry.
I know.
Drop off at Nate's house.
Serious. That's like my dream come true. And dishes. Don't forget the dishes.
Right. Well, they open the cupboard, so, you know, you put them away.
Right.
So, I mean, do you see these things all the time, or are they invasive in your space, or do you kind of, like, come to, like, a happy medium?
Actually, there's stuff that still happens. Perfect example is 2 days ago, I came down here to actually wash clothes, and I was going up the stairs. I heard the washer going, and then I went down, come back downstairs to put the clothes in the dryer, and the lid was open. And I was like, "What the heck?" And you know, it's almost like practical jokes all the time. You know,
Wow.
things being moved and stuff. And so then there's a door, which on the A&E video, those doors that open. Well, now that's been replaced with an actual door.
Oh yeah.
Well, that door was open, and I was walking by, and I was just like, oh, you know, because you know, it made me mad that, you know, whoever's doing this, you know, just playing the game. So I was like, all right, quit with the games, and then that door slammed shut.
I was like, man, I'm going to show you.
I didn't expect it, so I mean, honestly, to be honest, I jumped.
Oh yeah.
Around, because I didn't expect the door to slam shut.
I probably would have squealed and went, yeah! That's not supposed to happen, you know?
I can see that. She would totally do that. Totally do that.
Yep, jump 5 feet high and squeal.
I would, like, inside just die a little.
Right. I've only seen you scream twice. On investigation.
Yeah, your dumb husband.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons. But yeah, so, I mean, you replaced the saloon doors that were there, replaced it for a regular door, and it just, boom, slams on you because you're like, I'm done with these games.
Yeah, I was just like, quit playing the games, because, it's always something every day. There's always something, like whether it's a light turning on, or, door, being shut, or kitchen chair sliding across the floor just a little bit. There's always something.
It's like Poltergeist the movie.
Right.
Chair.
And so it's complete poltergeist activity with pranksters. Now, you've done your own investigating, and being a paranormal investigator, now, for some years, do you suggest that people actually go and investigate their own home like you guys did? That was kind of a scary deal there.
Yeah, we don't ever recommend that, but...
Right,
yeah.
That's how he started out.
Right.
So, do you recommend that people do that, or...
Well, to be honest, how mine all started, kind of, to add more to it, is I created another website at the time. It was actually called The Ghost House. Because there was so much stuff that was happening, I just kind of wanted to get feedback from everybody else out there, other paranormal teams, and, their takes and their opinions, while also, doing all my research and stuff on my own. Mm-hmm. And then, then that's kind of how it started, other people, heard of, seen the website, and then started calling me, and, actually the first place I ever investigated was a 3,000 square foot, opera house.
Oh.
So...
Those are always active, too.
That was my actual place besides my own house that I investigated.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe this, started you on your way, but, it would be really scary to have kids in the home with pranksters. I guess after a while you kind of get used to it, but kids, they see more than us adults do because their mind is open. So,
right.
What do your kids experience? And are they just like, meh, go away? Or are they like, Dad, stop this from happening? How does that happen?
Well, actually, my 4-year-old, he, this maybe, probably about 4 months ago, he came in and said, there's a guy in my room. And I was like, what do you mean there's a guy in your room? And he's like, he's got owies all over and he's vanished. So my first thought was, okay, did somebody break into my house? So I instantly ran in there and there was nobody there. And he went, he described the guy perfectly, and not only me, but several family members and relatives and friends have stayed here and have seen a figure of what looks like a guy, and we all, nobody said, at first nobody said anything about the figure we've seen, and that way if anybody else were to see it, they can kind of say, they can get a true answer of what they're really seeing.
Right.
And everybody says the exact same thing, that it's an older gentleman, his hair is all combed, and he does have what looks like, they almost look like scars or something on his face. But,
well, to a 4-year-old, that would be owies.
Well, yeah, it would be owies. Was he scared or was he concerned for this man?
Oh, he was actually, he was crying, so he was upset, and ever since then, it's been kind of a battle to get him to actually sleep in there, but we actually ended up switching rooms with him, just so that way, he wouldn't have to be in there, but,
right.
And as of right now, there's little stuff that happens, but...
Wow.
That would be hard to have the kids in there and not be able to... Have you tried to, remove these entities that are in there that are scaring... At least that are scaring the kids, anyway.
Right.
Yeah, we've had people come in. We've had, the house blessed. We've had, everything done that we can, but,
they're not going anyway.
Still happens. But then the other crazy thing is after that night that he said that, I set up audio while I left the home, and no one else was here. And you hear footsteps walking up the basement stairs, walk into the kitchen where I left the recorder on the table, and heavy breathing, and then it quits recording. And I have that audio clip, too.
I hate it when that happens.
I know. Or something's going on, and then your recorder doesn't work, or you go back and look at it later, and there's nothing there.
That cut out at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's off.
Well, and then the batteries are working just fine.
Of
course.
Yeah, of course.
So that would be interesting. How often do you leave recorders and stuff around your own home?
Oh, all the time. I have audio going pretty much almost 24/7. Cameras going almost all the time. I have a DVR system that has like 8 infrared cameras on it, so I
So,
just set them up all
Nate,
throughout the house and let it record.
Wow.
what's your goal? I mean, what are you trying to get? Because, I mean, I know you have spirits in your house, but...
Right, it's like your own...
Yeah, like, your long-term overall goal. I mean, you already know it's there. You have evidence of it. Are you just trying to get more? Or are you trying to research the spirits that are there? Do you know who they are? You know, things like that.
I don't know who it is, and that's kind of what I'm trying to find out is who they are and, you know, what they want, and maybe, you know, kind of get, I guess the camera-wise and everything would be, you know, to try and get a good, you know, video evidence of this figure and, you know, try and put a face to whoever it is, you know what I mean? So that way I can try and find out who exactly it is.
Right. Now, have you thought about looking into psychics to find out, like, a good reputable psychic, to find out, like, names of who they are, so you can at least address them by, like, hey, Dano, you need to stop.
Dano.
You know, you need to stop doing my laundry, or if you're going to start the washer, at least do a load of laundry. I mean, so, right?
Seriously.
Have you
Well,
thought?
to be honest, I've never really looked into the whole psychic side of it. That's something I never really got into.
Well,
So I guess
that's one route.
it is one route. You can, you know, get some names, and then when you do more investigating, you can say, hey, is this Joe Schmo? You know, and try to connect the names with the spirits.
Right.
And that way you're progressing your research, because you know what it sounds like is it doesn't sound like you're just curious of what's in your own home. It sounds like you're like researching and trying to, you know, bring more evidence into the paranormal world, so we can all look at it and say, hey, okay, this has gone on and this is what's happened and this is what we can hopefully expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what, you know, every investigator wants. They always want that, you know, perfect video or audio.
The Holy Grail.
So that way, the Holy Grail.
Have you done any history on your house or the land around it?
I actually traced the land all the way, traced it all the way back to where it was a flat land and there was nothing else here. But there is an area, see, kind of in with the whole court records, there's kind of something that's iffy on the house, and when I brought it to the city's attention, they just told me to leave it alone, because more or less the city screwed up, so the house was set vacant for like about 3 years. So
There's a whoops.
according to the police, there was some homeless people that did break in, and I mean, I live in a really, really good part of town, so
reputation.
There were homeless people that broke in at one time, and because I actually had the police come out because when I was ripping up a floor, there was some blood underneath on the floor, and I wanted them to confirm that that's what what I was thinking it was. And
Was it? It was.
Okay, anything could be happening in that house.
And
You
this
could have anybody in there. That's crazy. You could have whoever's blood that is haunting you. I'm just saying that he's wounded and he
There's
needs
not
Band-Aids.
Yeah, he needs Band-Aids.
Yeah.
You thought? I mean, you're just saying this nonchalantly.
No, is because in the A&E video, you'll see the smoke alarm that keeps always falling all the time, and every now and then it does. But it was right. Our furnace is right by that. Well, then I decided one day to call the city and have them come out and check all the gas lines and everything, and they found a leak right there in the pipe, kind of right by where that smoke alarm was. That the house could have blown up, I guess, at any time, is what the city said.
Holy crap!
So,
I'm going to say this house is more than iffy. Seriously, you got blood on the floor. Your house is going to blow up any second.
Well, and not only that, but very nonchalantly, but yeah, I was playing some floors and there's some blood, you know.
Yeah, like, what kind of things scare you?
I know.
Well, I saw blood on my floor. Meh. Huh? Really?
There's some blood. Meh.
Man, I live in, like, an old house built in the late 1800s, and I'm pretty sure I don't have any blood on my floors.
Well, let's pray to God not.
Should we rip some flooring up?
Yes.
Actually built in 58, so it's not that old.
Wow.
But still, I mean, there's blood on the floors. I mean, there's some disclosure issues from the real estate agent from the city, but then again, the city says, you just need to leave that alone.
But what happens if you say, I don't want to?
Right. You need, what? Yeah.
What happens if you say, I don't want to leave it alone? I'd like to know, please. I mean, you could say please or not, but say please like a little sassy at least. Please. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Have you ever said please?
I know. Don't let them.
I want to know.
Right. We're very curious people, so I don't think we would. You and I would never let that slide.
Mm-mm. It'd be like, and there's blood on my floor, so let's talk.
Right.
At length.
At
Well, I
length.
mean, I've brought it up on several investigations that I've done, and I never get any response, to that.
So the city and the ghosts are keeping their mouths shut.
Practical jokes, and I mean, I even had a local newspaper come with me, and the activity that happens every time we do an investigation, they actually ran out of the house, and they won't come back here for another investigation. They were doing a story on it.
Oh, they're chickens.
We'll come do a story on your house,
We'll come
Nate.
do a story on your house. We'll just, to give us a minute to get to Nebraska, and we will be there.
We'd be like, you stupid newspaper people.
Right.
Chickens.
That's right, and then we'll submit our story to their newspaper.
That's a good idea.
I like it.
Well, even with the film crew with A&E, they all experienced it. It was probably 2:00 in the morning, and we were filming, and we all experienced, a voice that wasn't any of ours. And the crew even looked at each other and was like, "What the heck was that?"
Right, yeah, B-roll for those shows, they experience a lot. They
do.
When you get them to open up and talk about it, they're kind of they get a lot of good stories.
Well, my ghost story, they have the B-roll, but, did they fly you out to California?
Yes, yeah, they flew us out to California, and we told our story on set.
Yeah, and then they flew out to you guys? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they came back a week
I guess it was
later.
B-roll.
Yeah, it's
Filmed
B-roll.
for 14, 15 hours.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It
So
was a long day.
yeah, I bet. So, I mean, you got doors opening and closing. You got a practical joker there. There's a crazy EVP, if we can find it in there.
Which one is it?
The one about it's closer to a haunting. That very Class A EVP.
I don't think I got
It's set
that
in the
one.
first set
I
of
only had
emails.
2.
It was set
Did
in-
I miss an email?
It was set in the first set of emails.
Wow.
Well, anyway, why don't you tell us the story behind the EVP of it's closer to a haunting, or however that, I can't remember the exact wordings. Why don't you tell us, because you're doing your investigation on your home. It's actually in the A&E file.
Yes, well, see, what we were doing is the smoke alarm actually fell. We were sitting upstairs, and we actually heard it hit the floor in the basement. It was right kind of close to the stairs. So we grabbed the audio recorder and the camera, and we came downstairs and started asking questions. And it was probably about 11 o'clock at night, and I asked, "Are you trying to give me, is that a warning for us?" And then I didn't hear it at the time, because we kept asking questions, and then when we went back upstairs, probably an hour later, we just started listening through it, and we heard the more toward a haunting, and then it keeps going, but the furnace kicked on, because it's right by the furnace, and then I couldn't hear or make out what else was being said. So, but the more toward a haunting is clear, and then shortly after that, we had some other strange activity that happened, so.
That's crazy. I think with a smoke alarm falling consistently, and then you calling in the, somebody for your furnace, and there's a gas leak, do you think that this spirit was trying to, give you forewarning of saying, hey, you need to check this out? I don't know how any other way that they could, other than just tell you directly, but do you think that was a sign to say, hey, you need to know something's wrong?
I personally do. I think they were, they did it enough, because the crazy thing with the smoke alarms, even upstairs, when batteries start to go dead, they start to chirp and it gets annoying.
Right.
Well, then when you get up to go take the battery out, it would move to another one. And you're like, what the heck?
You know what?
How did this one just stop and then that one start? And then it would do that, and then basically you would get to the basement to where that one's at, laying on the floor, and then it's like, okay, the smoke alarm fell.
So led you.
You actually have to twist and turn and lock into place.
That's crazy. So it led you pretty much to the basement to say, hey, there's something wrong.
Yeah, so, and then after a while, I was like, well, you know, I got to looking at the pipes and stuff, and I was like, well, maybe it's something with these. So I just had the city come out and check everything, the furnace, everything, and then they said, well, yeah, there's a huge gas leak right here. They quick immediately shut the gas off to the house, and they, you know, waited a little while, and they patched it up and replaced some piping and stuff, because, I mean, they said it could have blew up at, you know, that second.
That is insane.
Yeah, so...
Well, that's good that you follow your gut instinct.
What's that?
I said that's really good that you follow your gut instinct, because I don't know that I would have followed the trail and been like, hey, I'm going to call the city in and see if there's anything wrong. I really don't know that how many other people would have actually done that.
Well, it took me a while, I mean, before I actually did that. I mean, it was like several months before I finally, you know, was like, okay, why does it keep falling? And I just sat, I mean, I actually sat in my basement for like several hours, and I was just like, what is, you know, what does that mean? And I was like, well, you know, maybe I'll just have, you know, the pipes checked. Because I also had the electrical checked, too, because what also kind of maybe hinted me a little more was because the lighting in that same area kept flashing, because I had cameras on all night, and I left one light on. And the light, I mean, it would just sit there and pulse like a strobe light. So I called, and it would only do it every now and then. So I called the the city, and had them come out and check everything. And they're like, everything's perfectly fine.
Wow.
And I even showed them the video of the light flashing, and they're like, this is weird. They're like, it's fine. And then, you know what? And the crazy thing is since that's been replaced, the light does not flash anymore.
Really?
Since that pipe has been replaced, yeah. But, I mean, the activity still happens there all the time. I mean, you can ask it to, you know, move something, and something will move, or open something, and
so it works.
It usually does, but, I mean, it takes a while into the investigation.
So, I mean, they will respond to you in your home, say, hey, will you please move this flashlight? And it'll be like, okay, roll the flashlight.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had, you know, a lot of, like, you see on TV where they have the flashlights turn on and stuff. I've never had that actually turn on, but I've had stuff, like, move,
like chairs?
Something in this room with me, and then there was a box that actually moved, and the entire team witnessed it at all at the same time, because one of the other investigators, it was right by him, so it freaked him out.
I bet.
That's funny.
Moving by you.
So,
you know,
I didn't think you could move that fast.
You know, the things you find out about your team members in the dark.
I know. It's true. Everything comes out when it's dark.
That's right. It's surprise after surprise after surprise.
Oh,
so,
funny.
I mean, you've come to terms with these spirits that are there because you're still living in the home. You tried to sell it. It's not going to sell. So you just kind of came to terms with it. I mean, do you have boundaries set? That'd be like, hey, this is my kid's room. This is off limits. Do you have those boundaries?
I do.
Do they honor them?
Actually, to be honest with you, this weekend is going to be the first investigation that I've done here since, probably for about 2 years, just because I wanted the activity to kind of calm down a little bit. But,
right.
you know, it doesn't. It's still the same. So
after 2 years of not investigating, yeah, you kind of realize after 2 years it's not going to go down any, so you might as well just investigate it and see what's up, right?
Might as well.
Yeah, well, see, and then that's why, you know, like with the rooms and stuff, like with my kids' room, you know, I won't go in there to investigate. I'll just make sure, you know, and I always tell the team that, you know, like, that's off limit. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, kids' room's off limit.
I said it even to whoever's here, you know, I'll just say, okay, this room, stay out of it. You can mess with me in my room, but stay out of this room.
Yeah, that's, I agree with that. My kids' rooms are completely off limits. Completely off limits. So, do you have, so your team, are you going to, like, start some research? I think you should do some research, like, start a research program, honestly, with this, since it's your own home. You can be there whenever you want. If the activity doesn't spike, or it doesn't get malicious, or it doesn't cause any extra issues, or anything like that, I think you should really start, like, a research project and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I have actually a member on my team. Her name's Sandy. She's our research person, and she's actually been pulling a lot of stuff and trying to find, more stuff than what I did originally.
Right.
But we're kind of at that point where we're caught again with the city, and then the city. Because see, what it is at one point the house had no owner, but yet there was taxes that were being paid on it.
Oh,
So who is the owner? And
oh boy,
there was one point
you're
where
in deep, son.
Hey, what's going on here?
Wow.
Wow, this is like some deep, like, classified shit.
Yeah.
Well, you can find all that stuff for free too. I mean, just
Yeah, you can.
Except on your house.
Except on your house. You
Leave
can't
it
find out
alone.
who is paying your property taxes before you lived there. Tammy and I spent many
You
days.
can get anything.
Yeah, we spent many days and many hours and many days in the records.
Oh yeah,
hall,
we've been in
and
the record department
It makes
forever.
you snooze. It's terrible.
But the books are cool. They're huge. They're
and they
like,
smell
this big.
delicious.
And the writing, wow, you just don't see writing
Right.
like that anymore.
Right. We have famous people in the books buying land for the church. It's kind of fascinating to see all the different, signatures and stuff like that. However, I don't know if I don't know how would you go about finding a check. Who made the payment to the city while this house was vacant for years? How
Well,
would
it
you
should
do
be
that?
public,
Right, but think of all the times that we've looked at that. We've never once ran into the so-and-so paid.
You'd have to see the city files, the count files.
You're going to have to do some begging and pleading, I think, to get into those county files.
You'd have to get their, financial stuff.
Well, see, and there was also a deal through the city that there was an accident that did happen at one time.
Obviously, there's
When I
blood.
conducted the police report, I tried to find out, who was it, what happened, but it was back at the time where, the police only keep the records at the time for only, so many years, so then...
Oh, that's such a lie. That's
destroyed.
gotta be.
So it's like, well, I tried talking with, the chief of police, seeing if he can't tell me anything. I guess he doesn't remember, a whole lot about it, so...
Here's our experience, is they're feeding you full of bull.
They're just getting you to go away. They don't get rid of files.
They can't get rid of the files. I mean, you can
Especially
get files
on
back
accidents.
in late 1800s, unless they're ripped out by a fire. You can find records. There's somebody somewhere. There's a connection, and when you find out, you're gonna be like, "Holy crap! This is my house. I'm charging $50 a person to come in and investigate."
He's gonna need to go in the witness protection program.
Jimmy Hoffa is buried in your basement.
We've had so many people email just from the A&E thing. We are doing tours here, tours/investigation. So it'll be interesting to see how much activity picks up once other people.
Out of your own house, my goodness.
Man, I don't think I'd want to keep my house clean enough to have people come through all the time.
I'd be like, yeah, you can come do a tour if you clean my bathroom.
That's right. The
Ghosts already do the laundry.
You do the bathroom, and you can come and investigate my
good.
house. I got a house full of boys, so
Suckers. There's one in here.
Bathroom. Wow. So
and even some of the other stuff that happens. I mean, you could be sitting there. For example, I ripped out a whole wall, and I was using the shop vac, and I was cleaning it up. Some of the sheetrock and all the dust and all that crap. And then next thing you know, it shuts off. And, I'm like, so I turn around and I'm like, okay, I must have blew a breaker or whatever. But then I'm like, wait a second, the lights are still on. And I was like, so I flip the switch and it turns back on and I go back to cleaning. So, I mean, it's just always these little things that always happen. And it's like, I mean, I've seen, and, I've actually seen a figure, and like I said, several other people have too. And then, I mean, you can hear footsteps coming up the basement,
Yeah, I could not have a ghost in my house like that.
I had one the other day.
Well, I've had several
away.
come and go, but I could not have one living in my house. I would,
Constantly,
beat them with my energy bubble.
I'd
be like, bam, body slam, seriously,
I had to do some serious maneuvering to get whatever was harassing me every 15 minutes as I tried to sleep out. I could not have one live permanently in my space. They can be downstairs, they can be in the kitchen. With the lights on.
I would just have to have, like, constant Xanax shots. I swear.
Oh,
if I
God.
had one around me, because that's what, you know, when I
Right.
have a spirit around me, I feel that anxiety, and I'm like, whoo.
That fight or flight.
Yeah, the fight or flight response. I would seriously need a Xanax drip.
That would be fun.
I would need it, because it would, like, I'd completely go crazy.
I couldn't handle it because of, like, around... Do you get this feeling, Nate, like you go down the hall and you go into the bathroom, and then you're like, I know I'm going to run into something when I turn this corner? I mean, do you feel that, like, anxiety?
I've never had that happen.
Oof,
But,
you're
like,
lucky.
I've always had, like, the uneasy feelings at times where, like, you feel like you're being watched or, you know, you don't really want to go to a certain part of or go to the basement at a certain time because you
Right.
get that uneasy feeling.
Right.
Well, they kind of cross boundaries.
Right.
You know, I've had my butt pinched in the shower by a ghost.
Yeah, but he was a perv.
But still, that's
It's a boundary. Huge
it is.
boundary crossing.
And I would just, like, no. Yeah. Maybe don't even do my laundry. You know?
No sniff in the garments.
But seriously, I would really have a problem with it. Like, seriously.
I don't think I could have one living in my home. And you were very brave, Nate, because I don't think... I mean, we've been doing this for 9-ish, 10-ish years-ish.
I'm gonna say we're going on 11, because I feel like we've been
Ish.
saying 10 for, like, 3 years.
We've been doing this for a very long time. Oh, I hear myself echo. That was nice.
He's playing. He's getting familiar with the software again.
So, you know, and having them in my home is one thing, and then they just kind of pass and go. You know, whatever you see it stays there for a minute and then goes. But to have it living there and knowing that feeling when you walk down the hallway and you can feel it like hovering over, I can't do that. I stop, I turn around and say, you need to back off. There's no way I could live in a home and know that when I turn that corner, I'm going to meet something face to face. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. So I'm like, you're lucky, Nate, that you've never felt that I'm going to run into something feeling.
Maybe they just have this really nice symbiotic
I
relationship.
think one of the most craziest things, and to be honest, creepy things that, you know, it even still in my mind now, even though I've seen the figure and stuff here, doesn't really bother me. But the part was, I just went to bed, and I shut the door, and the door handle starts rattling. Like, sitting there just shaking, like somebody's trying to open the door, but they can't. And then I get up, or actually, me and my wife, we actually both got up, and we opened the door, and there was nobody there. Because, you know, my first thought was, okay, did somebody try and break in? But I was like, I was just out there. You know? So that's not it. But I think that right there, I think, between everything else, I think kind of, I'd have to say, kind of bothers me the most, just because of it was actually moving the door handle. I mean, I've seen other little things move, but to me, it's just creepy, I guess.
It's like, it's
for
coming
me,
in.
Right.
It's coming
in, invading your space. It's trying to get
coming
to where you are.
Well, or even
Not
like
okay.
you said, what if it was somebody breaking in? I mean,
Well,
living
exactly.
person. Living people are more scary than dead people.
They are,
You know, I
absolutely.
think.
I agree. But yeah, what if, you know, somebody's breaking in? That's good that that's where your mind first goes, because there's so many people out there that are like, oh, I hear, you know, crackling sounds in my walls. It's a ghost, and they give themselves serious anxiety and serious, like, mental health issues because they think they're haunted when really it's just pipes. So that's good that you have the frame of mind that you're like, oh, well, God, maybe somebody broke in. I mean, that's not good, not, you know, scary to think about, but it's better
Like,
than...
just kidding.
It's scary to think about, but it's better than being like, oh, that's you know, oh, everything's a spirit, everything's a ghost, everything, you know. But we jiggling the door handle, that means they're trying to get to where you're at. It's not okay.
Yeah,
And
wow.
Like, the other thing is like my father-in-law, he's a big skeptic. And so finally, I was like, one of the times that he was here, we just had him come over for supper and stuff, and our back door actually opened up and slammed shut, and it goes into a breezeway and then into the garage. Well, that door, when he got up and he ran back there, he sat there forever trying to figure out a way to disprove it, considering it was locked. And he's like, okay, and he still doesn't have an answer for that. So he's like, okay, so maybe there is something going on here.
Wow, I love...
That's funny.
Skeptics are my favorite.
I know, they are. They're fun.
They're fun, because when they
Then
see
I've
something...
even called the cops because we'd come home and we would see somebody walking through like the living room and from outside, and we'd call the cops, and you know the house everybody's seen it. Even my kids seen it. They're like, somebody's in our house. And it's like, well, there's nobody in the house.
Wow. Well, hopefully, when you get more tours in there, if you choose to charge, you can pay off your house, move somewhere else, and then use that as a full-time research facility.
Yeah, I think that's an option that we've been thinking about. Maybe turning this into, kind of like a tourist investigation place, and then, that research and whatnot. So.
Yeah, well, I think that would be great, honestly. I think it's almost close to break time here. It is 8:21, so we just have a few more minutes. But, where do people, if they have an investigation, like a place that's haunted, or they need your advice, or they need your help, how do they get a hold of you and your team?
They can go to our website. It's tripparanormal.com.
Okay, and then did they just email through there, or is there a public form that they can get on, or anything like that?
There's a public phone number, and there's also email on there as well. So, whichever they feel comfortable using.
Okay, well that works nicely, so that way people can, obviously you have full living experience of how to handle a haunting, so it would be good for people to actually contact you.
What's that?
I said you have a lot of information. You've lived having a haunting, so it would be good for, you would be a good to-go person to go to.
Right, you've lived there.
Right.
As far as a residential investigator, I don't think you could find anybody more empathetic, sympathetic, understanding,
right.
or,
Well, because most of the people we've said it 100 times, we'll say it again. People who are dealing with a haunting, and they don't believe in it, or they do believe in it, either way, it can be the most vulnerable times in their entire life. Not everybody can be like, oh, well, I'll just go and investigate it. And we actually don't recommend that you investigate your own home, but, who do you call? What do you do? Are people going to think that you're crazy? Are people going to think that you're, out of your mind? Or, it's scary for a lot of people.
And that's exactly it. Is a lot of homeowners always feel like they don't know who to talk to because they don't want to sound crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we're here, every paranormal investigating team's there is, to help them, to listen to them, and help, in any way we can. So they shouldn't feel afraid or, think they're going to sound crazy or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, because that's really horrible, feeling crazy.
So, I've been crazy for a long time, but like
I
the
was
out of
crazy
your
once.
mind, the out of your mind crazy. You don't know what's happened to you in your life, in your family, type crazy. That's really no bueno.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad news.
It is bad. It's not fun. It's scary, and it's heartbreaking for people because they feel like they have to leave their homes, and some people leave all their possessions.
They do.
They just up and go.
They do.
Burn crosses into walls and beds
Seen
and
it.
equipment. Cross. It's crazy what people do because they're so scared, and then they feel so lost.
Right.
And you living in a actual haunted location would actually be beneficial for people looking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a Twitter account too. What's your Twitter?
It's Ghost Hunters NEV. Ghost Hunters Nebraska.
Ghost Hunters Nebraska.
Awesome.
Actually, the trip one was taken, so.
How rude.
Yes, it is.
I hate it when that happens. Then you have to put stuff like dashes in the name and things like
yes,
that.
you do. And people are like,
You know why?
W-W-P-N. That's our Twitter.
TMI? I don't know. Was it? So I want to play their little commercial for my ghost
good.
story. Iggy, hit it.
Iggy, hit it and let us know when it's on.
I was like, what was that?
Anything.
There's somebody in here.
I jumped up.
He's just panicked.
My adrenaline was pumping.
Immediately, we knew it had to be some kind of an entity.
I'd seen it physically move stuff.
Whoa, did you guys see that?
But now we're getting hurt. I was like, what was that?
There's somebody in here.
I jumped up.
He's just panicked.
My adrenaline was pumping.
Immediately, we knew it had to be some kind of an entity.
I'd seen it physically move stuff.
Whoa, did you guys see that?
But now we're getting hurt.
My ghost story.
And you echoed. So, you guys were getting hurt?
What's that?
You said you guys were getting hurt in that clip that you sent us. It said that you guys were getting hurt. Like your wife was in the shower and
Yes,
she got
I
snapped?
actually got scratched down my back, and I was actually, when I did it, or when it happened, I was actually standing on a chair in my closet, and I was putting something up on the second shelf in the closet, and my back was to the outside of the room, so I knew I didn't bump up against, anything. And I mean, I even checked along the edge of the doorway there just to make sure there was nothing sticking out, and there wasn't. So,
Wow.
and it looked like someone took their hand and scratched it down the side, or on my back.
Did you feel anything? Did you feel hot and burning, or did you just realize, like, after it was
felt
done?
really, really hot at first, and I guess I felt the pain, and I was like, oh man, what is that? And then I went to the bathroom and I took my shirt off and was trying to look in the mirror, and I was like, what the heck is that? And I saw some red stuff, and so I showed my wife, and she's like, what happened? And there's like all these scratch marks. I mean, just as if someone just grabbed their hand and drug it down.
So was there,
I
like...
knew a nail couldn't have done that. Plus, there was nothing, in the way. So
Right. So how many scratch lines were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? How many were
there
there?
was 4 of them actually going down.
4. So, like... I'm trying to figure, like... That's fascinating.
It's like you were to take your hand and just basically not use your thumb, pretty much, and just drag it down.
Ow.
Or
That
like,
would be
you
crazy.
always see on TV, people always, dragging their fingers across the chalkboard, but without
Right.
your thumb, basically.
So do you know who it is that did that? I mean, I know that you have the man ghost in there. Do you have a female as well? Or is it just the one spirit?
Audio, but I do think there is more than one, because sometimes, like I said, with the guy, the activity's different. I mean, with one, it always seems like it's the same thing.
Right.
And then there's at certain times there's stuff that happens, like stuff will get thrown, and like the TV remote went flying off the TV and into the hallway, and it's like that's never happened, or you'll hear like on audio you hear like what sounds like growling, almost, or grunting kind of, and then but it's very short. It's maybe like 10 seconds or 12 seconds.
Well, that's still pretty long.
The growling?
Yeah. I mean...
It's more, kind of like
It's a long growl, I think
more like a growl, or kind of like almost like a grunting, and it's like, and it's not all the time that I get that. It's just every now and then. And then usually when I get that, something like, for an example, like that TV remote that went flying, like a couple days later, I had that audio. And then there was a time before that, there was an actual glass vase that was sitting on the counter, and that got thrown off and hit the wall, and then on the opposite side of the room, which ain't very far away, but it hit that and then fell onto the floor and broke. And then I had that same growling and grunting. And then, at times, I'll leave the audio on, and then usually sometimes after that I'll be gone. And like I said, that one time I came back, and you hear this really heavy breathing, in which I will post that on Facebook and our website. I don't have it on there, but I will post it for everybody to hear it.
Okay, so everybody go like TRIP Paranormal on Facebook.
Right.
Go and listen to their awesome EVPs and pictures and things like that.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we even have video that we're gonna...
On Facebook, it's actually like TRIP Para, but then the like page is like Tri-City Research and Investigation of the Paranormal.
Okay.
What it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, I gotta say that 3 times fast. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but it is break time. We do
The
have...
reason why I said that is because there's another team out there that's TRIP Paranormal. But
I was like, what was that?
There's somebody in here.
I
Right.
jumped up.
He's just panicked.
My adrenaline was pumping.
Immediately we knew it had to be some kind of an entity.
Yeah, so this is the Tri-City
Yeah, because I think I've talked with the
Research
other Tri-City people, too.
Investigation of the Paranormal. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Nate.
Well, it's break time.
It is break time. So we're going to go to break. We'll come
5-ish.
back. Right, about 5 minutes. We'll come back. We'll introduce Larry from Big Time Paranormal, and then we'll come back with Nate. Don't go anywhere.
for a second.
For a second.
We're
And a
echoing.
second. But we're going to go to Larry from Big Time Paranormal. So everybody, I mean, gosh, seriously, love the guy. Watch him. Go ahead, Iggy.
Hi, welcome to Big Time Paranormal. My name is Larry Gonzalez, and I thank you for being here. Now, this segment's been thrown off a little bit because Worldwide Paranormal Network had some technical difficulties a couple weeks ago, and so last week's segment that you saw was actually meant for 2 weeks or the week before. And so it kind of worked out for the best because there wasn't a whole lot that I could find last week. So what I found last week is being combined with what I found for this segment as well, so I can bring you something much fuller. So let's start off with some of the news. The first piece of news, now this piece of news is something that you would see in any local news, whether it's New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, whatever. But this happens to come from Memphis, Tennessee. Now, watch the segment. It's like any other report that you would see on the evening news on your local television. And when we come back, I'll tell you what happened after that report was put out.
Babe, I love you. The last words from a convicted bank robber to his fiancée just 1 hour before he robbed again and then committed suicide. Good evening, I'm Joyce Peterson.
And I'm Cameron Harper. Tonight, Marvin Emerson's family is wondering how his life went so wrong again. Emerson shot himself yesterday when he was cornered by police after a car chase.
Local 24's Eli Ross is live in the control room with the fiancé's emotional interview. Eli.
Well, Joyce and Cameron, Carolyn Ambrose says yesterday morning started like so many recently, with her and her fiancé Marvin kneeling in prayer. It wasn't until around 4 o'clock that she got a frantic phone call from their son. Even then, she told me this evening, she wasn't expecting this.
All I can do is just be a strong backbone for my mom.
For the family left behind, the pain is compounded by the confusion.
Just to hear this news, it's all bad. It's all bad news.
The bad started Tuesday morning when Memphis police say Marvin Emerson robbed this Wells Fargo on Poplar Avenue.
What happened? What started all this chaos? What brought on this confusion? Only God knows.
Police chased Emerson, it all ending here on Walnut Grove. According to MPD, as officers tried to arrest Emerson, he pulled a gun and then shot himself in the head.
I'm just dumbfounded. I'm floored. I don't, words cannot explain or express how I feel right now.
The hurt is deepened because after a long struggle, things lately had been good. In March, Emerson had been released from prison after serving nearly all of a 25-year sentence for at least a half dozen other bank robberies.
He just wanted the best for all, but, just went the wrong way.
Since then, Carolyn Emerson says the family had been bonding all over again, including at a family member's birthday party last month.
He was my best friend. I could talk to him about anything and everything.
That, though, now gone. Emerson is left with memories, including their last embrace, hours before things went south.
We kissed, and he said, "Babe, I love you," and I tell him I love him.
Hoping the questions she now has will one day be answered.
Just hope to see him one day soon. Save me a seat, Peter.
Emerson's family said they had no indication or warning prior to yesterday morning's events. 2 vehicles were hit during that police chase, and we learned today both drivers are expected to be okay. Live in the control room, Eli Ross, Local 24 News.
Okay, so like any other local news that you would see a story like that, you would think that was normally the end of the story, but it turned out that it wasn't. It's actually kind of the beginning of the story. Now, remember, this is a show about the paranormal. So what happened after that, it's been over a month since the poor guy committed suicide on a corner. Well, 2 reports came into the Memphis Paranormal Investigation. They have a Facebook page. And 2 reports came in saying that they saw the poor guy's ghost on that corner. Now, the local news in Memphis went out with a reporter to report what people have seen. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring that to you here on this show because I couldn't access it for you to see it. But you really didn't miss anything. People are talking about, oh, you know, we're just standing here seeing if the ghost shows up and this and that. And I guess that's typical when these reports come out. I feel bad for the guy if his ghost really is on that corner, because that means that he has unresolved problems that need to be resolved before he can cross over. And I really feel bad because unfortunately his wife and son is going to hear these reports over and over again. So if anything comes up of it, anything more, I'll make sure to bring it over to you guys so you guys can see it. You know, maybe somebody will do an investigation on that corner, who knows. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. The next video, the next story, the video is interesting. Now, this is something that I had reported on Big Time Paranormal. This man and woman, the husband took a picture of his wife. They were the only ones in the house, and it was for a Facebook page. Now, the Facebook page, you can see the woman, and then in the back, you can see the door with the window in it. And in the window, there's a reflection of a little girl in the window. And apparently they didn't see it when they originally took the picture and they went ahead and put it on Facebook, but a friend of theirs had noticed it, and it went viral because it went on video and so on. So take a look at this and tell me what you think.
A New Hampshire man made a startling discovery when he noticed a ghostly figure photobombing a friend's Facebook snapshot. Now, an expert photo analyst is saying that the phantom is real. 2 weeks ago, Daniel Tanner decided to peruse a friend's online photo album when something eerie caught his eye. In the background of an image that shows Tanner's friend posing with her canine companion, what appears to be the ghost of a young girl can be seen peering through a window. "My friend has been claiming for months that her house is haunted," Tanner told Reddit. Her husband took this pic a few days ago. Tanner claims that the only people in the house at the time of the photograph were his friend and her husband, who snapped the image.
Okay, so what you saw there was interesting because of the fact that it's a photograph and supposedly it's not doctored in any way, not photoshopped or anything. Now, on Big Time Paranormal, we get these kind of pictures all the time. We see pictures that are supposedly with ghosts in the background or whatever, and they're very intriguing to look at. Now, whether or not they're real or not, I can't say they're real or not. All I can say is that it's interesting, and I usually put it out there for everyone to look at, and they could call it as they see it. Now, I know there's a lot of phone apps. I was just recently sent a picture where it was a group of people and there was a ghost in the background. Now, a little while later, that person sent me a message and said, "Please don't put that out there. I did not know that my son had used an app to create the ghost." But it was enough to fool her, and it looked pretty darn good. So the technology is getting better with those apps. So unfortunately, they're getting harder to tell what's real and what's not. But it doesn't mean that I won't stop posting them. Because again, like I've always said, you guys are big boys and girls. You can decide for these if these pictures are real or not. So that's it for the ghost stuff. Now, the next one is UFOs. Now, I was listening to Peter Davenport. Now, Peter Davenport, he comes on, I think, about once a month, something like that, in Coast to Coast AM. And he is the director of the National UFO Reporting Center. And he's been there since 1994. So he's seen a lot of the reports over the years. What caught my ear was that he said in a normal month, he would get somewhere around 300 reports, average. For the past 15 months, going on 16 now, he's been getting an average of 1,200 reports a month. Now I looked at his website before I started recording this to see if there was an update, because the last one was reported at the end of August. I think it was the 24th, something like that, when he had last update, and that was 953 reports. He hasn't updated yet. But some of the areas that he reported about sightings were in Alaska, the state of Washington, Israel, Missouri, Illinois, and of course that doesn't go with what I was reporting about on the border of India and China. There's been some reports in Lincolnshire in the UK. There's been reports in Russia, Mexico. I mean, again, they're all over the place. And we see them all the time on Big Time Paranormal. So if you're interested in ufology, we usually put those, people usually send in videos, and they put them on different Facebook pages, and then we bring them over to Big Time. So if that's what you like, come over and take a look at them. Now, if you have a UFO that you have seen, you can call this number, but this is a number if you've seen a UFO within the past, say, week. And the phone number is, this is the hotline, area code 206-722-3000 to make a report. Or you can send it by email, and that's director@ufocenter.com. And you can make a report that way. Or you can do it the old snail mail way, and that's National UFO Reporting Center, P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, 99122. So again, if you have a report that's very recent, call the number. If it's older than that, go ahead and send it by email or by snail mail, however you wish to do it. So these things get recorded. It's important that we record them because they need to be recorded. Now, that's on that. The next one is actually a little bit more cutting edge technology. Now, Nissan has a car that they want to get perfected and on the market by 2020. This car is basically a self-driving car. You basically just get in it, you program where you want to go, and the car will take you from point A to point B. I'm sure it uses GPS technology and so on, and sensors in the bumpers and so on. But here's the video on that.
Autonomous mode activated.
Nissan announced Tuesday plans to have commercially viable autonomous drive vehicles on global roads by 2020. 80 vehicles allow autonomous travel on streets or highways that make lane changes and avoid collisions, utilizing a number of current and next-generation technologies. Executive Vice President Andy Palmer at the Nissan 360 event in Irvine, California, said the automaker is again committed to bring such cutting-edge technologies to a larger market as it did with the Nissan Leaf.
We've announced that we'll introduce autonomous drive vehicle by 2020. and that we said that within two vehicle life cycles, we'll make that technology available across the entire portfolio. So I think what we've done is we've built out and we've fleshed out the two key pillars of Nissan Motor Company: zero emissions, zero fatality. Obviously, autonomous driving is really about that kind of goal of zero fatalities.
Nissan is already working on a proving ground in Japan for the technology, which uses laser scanners, around view monitor cameras, as well as advanced vehicle intelligence and actuators to ease traffic and allow multitasking while commuting. Some 6 million accidents occur in the U.S. alone each year, with some 93% attributed to human error. In addition to safety, for the aged and those with disabilities, autonomous drive offers another benefit: true independence and mobility for all. Nissan is working with institutions such as Oxford, MIT, Stanford, and the University of Tokyo on next-generation development. Executive Vice President for R&D, Mitsuhiko Yamashita, says the autonomous drive vehicle will only become more intelligent.
I think the vehicle has a very high potential. What we can do from this now is accumulating more knowledge or more negotiation with all the traffic conditions, and the vehicle become smarter and smarter, as we accumulate those kind of the knowledge and our database, probably. So this has a big potential.
Autonomous drive vehicles will include models beyond the Nissan Leaf, and like the EV, may see an era of what if become what is in the near future.
Okay, so there'll be a lot of advantages to that kind of technology. Of course, you wouldn't have to worry about people texting and driving anymore, for one. And I'm not sure what the laws would be for someone that's a drunk driver getting into one of those. Would he be tempted to be able to try to turn it off to drive himself? I don't know. But it's still interesting that the technology is going that way. Now, my wife and I were just watching the new Total Recall, where they have cars that use basically electromagnetics to float above and below tracks. Now, that's pretty cool. So I do know that there's been talk about on something like that as well. But who knows where that will go. Now, I'll tell you the piece of technology I'm really looking forward to, and I've been waiting for this since I was a little kid when I used to watch this stuff on TV. And let's take a look at that. Yeah, buddy. Flying around my own jetpack, solving crimes and fighting criminals. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Of course, I'm kind of getting too old for the harsh landings, but the fuel ran out. So anyway, that's it for the news. Also, we're getting closer to Halloween, and I'm hoping to be able to get to the local stores, the Halloween stores, and see if I can get into the stores and interview people and stuff like that. But now, if I was Good Day America, no problem. But because I just do this internet show, they're very, no, that's okay, thank you. So it's actually much harder to get into these stores than you would think. But I will do the best I can to get into them. And we'll take a look at some of the newest masks and makeup and stuff like that. So hopefully they'll let me in to do that. So it's getting to be that time of the year for Halloween. Also, I want to talk to you guys about one thing before I leave. Now, I haven't spoke to Kim or Cami over at Worldwide Paranormal Network about this because it's something that I've been kind of mulling over for a while now. And I've had actually several people send me private messages asking if I would put this segment onto a YouTube channel for more access. And also with the idea that videos that I find interesting, I can also put onto that YouTube channel. I've been asked if I was going to create a web page, and those are things we've talked about, but I'm not sure I want to go there. But if you guys are interested in the past segments from Worldwide Paranormal Network, these segments right here that I do for them on there, I would be more than happy to be able to do it. But I would only do it if you guys ask, because first of all, I like how Worldwide Paranormal Network has it set up, because they have the Ustream.com, and you can go into the archives and stuff like that, and that's fine. I'm not sure if I want to do it or not, to be honest with you. But if I get enough people that say they would like to see it, then I would do it. But what I would do for this segment is it would always show on Tuesday night, but I would not put it onto the YouTube channel into, say, Thursday or Friday, to give this network a chance to have people take a look at the show. So I have mixed feelings about it. Would I like to do it? It would be interesting, but I would only do it if people wanted to see it. And I'm kind of iffy about it, mostly because I read a story on CNN.com, and I posted the story on Big Time Paranormal. Maybe some of you have seen it, about the paranormal, and a lot of people are doing the paranormal for fame and stuff like that, and I'm not really... it's fun to do this show, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I want to do that. It's not really my thing. I've actually started turning down people wanting interviews. It's just not me. It really isn't. So I'll do it if you guys would like to see it. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But I'll let you guys decide. So if you're interested, come over to Big Time Paranormal Network and send me a personal message, or go to my Facebook page, mine, Larry W. Gonzalez, and send me a message saying, you would like to see it as well. As far as a web page, I'm not sure. It takes a lot of time to do all these things, and really it's really me that would be updating, and I've already taken a lot of time from my wife and my daughter. So I'm kind of iffy about that as well. But we'll see. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, I'm sure Kim and Cammy are right now going, really? But yeah. Anyway, so remember, until next week, today is your day. Go out and make it happen, and we'll catch you next week. Remember, send me a message. And always, remember, Worldwide Paranormal Network, Tuesday nights on Ustream, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Tell your friends, your family. Always.
Alrighty.
We're back.
Larry from Big Time Paranormal.
I want to jetpack myself.
Who doesn't? I've been trying to get one forever.
Go and fight crime.
I know.
Me and my cane.
I know. Jeez. He's too funny. And Larry, get on with your bad self. If you want to YouTube this stuff, do it. Do it. For sure. We're all about, everyone. Expanding yourself and others.
Expanding.
So do it. Webpage.
Good
Yay.
luck.
Have fun.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Big Time Paranormal pages, Larry Gonzalez pages.
But you can't, and your own webpage, you can't get banned for the day for
Exactly.
sharing too much. So
true.
Right.
So true.
You can't get banned.
Mm-hmm. You can't get banned.
Right. It's your webpage.
No rules.
Ooh.
I know, right?
That could be dangerous.
That sounds fabulous. No rules, no commercials, no nothing unless you ask for them or do them yourself. Yes.
Dreamland.
Very fabulous.
Fabulous.
Very fabulous.
Very fabulous.
All right, Kathy, who have we got with us?
We got Nate from TRIP Paranormal.
Nate from TRIP Paranormal.
Let's see.
Wow.
It's your
What time is
word
it?
foobar time. Not mine, it's yours.
Well, at least mine is I'm not making shirts called Paranormal.
Leave my abdominal snowman alone.
I know. That was funny. He still talks about that. It's funny.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
No, well, thank you,
It's
Nick.
funny.
Redfern.
All right, so Nick from TRIP Paranormal,
Right.
thank you for being here and welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we are glad to have you, as always.
Make sure my volume's up here so we can hear you.
Yep, got to do it. So we have a whole bunch of stuff that you
Yes,
sent us.
we
in
do.
Email. We didn't. I couldn't find all of it. I don't know what happened to it.
Or I could have just been watching the episode and in my brain I thought we had it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I went and looked
That
through all the
wouldn't-
emails.
don't put
and
it past
everything.
me.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past you either. But I went and looked through them, trying to find all the EVPs that we're supposed to have. But we have everything that I got in the email. So, you know,
it could. And don't put it past me for me to be like, oh yeah, that's, well, you know, it's me.
It's one of those things. So we have a lot of things. Actually, you know what? I'm going to set up one thing for you. Okay. And Nick, you're going to help me. Or Nate, sorry. Everybody's Nick. Nick, Nate, same, right?
Same.
4 letters, starts with
Same.
N. There's a I in it. And an A in the other one.
Anyway, you better set that up.
I know. Let's start over. So, we have Nate here, and he's going to help me set up this next EVP that we have. It's the 3 beep one. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, we were on an investigation, and we were using the millimeter with the laser grid. We actually unscrewed the grid off, so it just basically looks like a high-tech laser pointer.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that running on one side of the museum to the other side, and it goes into the millimeter with shadow detection. And during the investigation, we asked, can you make that beep 3 times? And that's what we got on audio, is something walked through or touched it and made it beep 3 times.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and play that for everybody.
Thank you.
Mrs. Leonard and Mrs. Jones.
If you're Mrs. Jones, 3 beeps for yes, 2 for no. 3. Thank you.
Mrs. Leonard and Mrs. Jones.
If you're Mrs. Jones, 3 beeps for yes, 2 for no. 3. Thank you.
Fascinating.
So is Mrs. Jones.
Yeah, who was Mrs. Jones?
Well, she was actually used to be a librarian at the Blacksmith Library.
Wow. So the library, Mrs. Jones, is making herself present.
Well, if I was a librarian, I'd probably stay in the library too.
I love
at
small
least
books.
visit it.
Right.
I would
love
do
the
that.
small books.
I would do that. Okay, we have a second one here. Which one is it, Iggy? What does it say? I'm dying. Ah,
This
so
one's
set up
right
the
there.
one that says I'm dying. What is that, and where is it at?
That one is actually at an investigation we have coming up here in about 3 weeks. It's actually called Yesterday's Lady. It's a museum in Beatrice, Nebraska. There's so much history to this place. It used to be a saloon, a newspaper mill, a doctor's office, and a lawyer's office, and also an apartment at one time. And previous owners actually passed away in there.
Wow. All right, Iggy, go ahead and play that for us. really quiet,
It's
but
quiet,
it's there.
but it's very Class A.
Yeah, it's
You know what
faint,
it's saying.
but you can hear it. It's really quick, too.
Mm-hmm. That's what most EVPs are, though. I mean, you know, you get something. It's so rare that you get one that's kind of long.
Right. Well, we've had them before that just won't stop. Like us. It's like mimicking.
Our kind of people.
Our kind of people, dead or alive.
Yeah. So you've been on a lot of investigations, Nate, and I mean, what is your most favorite place that you've ever been to, other than your house? I mean, really, that's just crazy. But you know, other than your house, what's your favorite?
I would have to say my favorite was probably the Ashland Air and Space Museum.
That would be fun to go into an aerospace museum and
would.
investigate.
It would.
I mean, what kind of stuff did you get there?
Yeah.
Well, we actually, we have actually a couple photos that have actually what looks like a shadow figure in it, and which that'll be in the article of the Smithsonian Air and Space magazine. And then we've got some audio. We actually had a news reporter come along with us and was filming it, for her story. And her camera started messing up, picking up these wireless mics that weren't even hooked up to her camera, for one.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, one of our millimeter actually moved and fell off of the stand at the back of where we had it sitting on like a chair at the back of the museum. Well, we were walking over there, and I had the audio with me, and we didn't hear this at the time. I mean, all of us were talking as we were walking, and we hear this, "Hey, I'm healed," and then it goes on, but it's hard to make out what's being said, and it's a guy's voice.
Wow, that's really cool.
It gets some good audio there too. So
yeah, that's really
That's
cool.
way cool.
It is. I love military investigations. Anytime you go on a military investigation, you just get crazy stuff. I think.
Right.
I mean, you too, right?
Right.
It's
yeah,
just,
it's.
I don't know why that is. It's just
people love love their military, and they just stick around. I don't know.
That could be it. They're very passionate about, what they do.
Right. Or want to tell secrets. I love secrets.
Well, we haven't gotten a good secret. I mean, I'd like to.
One day.
One
it
day.
will happen, and then we can lick it and stick it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be great.
That would be
awesome. Be great. Well, we have some pictures here, and it's of a.
This is a carnival one.
A carnival one, and we have a before picture, and then the picture taken right after. Do you do pictures in sequence, like one right after the other, like click, click, click?
Yeah, that's what we were doing at that time. And basically that's usually what we do pretty much on every investigation, is just snap photos just constantly, because you never know when something might show up.
Right. Well, such as here, there's the first, and then there's the one with the mist that just came out of nowhere.
And there was nobody smoking, or it wasn't cold, so your breath was showing.
Actually, it was probably maybe 30 degrees or 25 degrees outside, and there was nobody. I mean, when we took that photo, we were actually getting ready to leave, and so when the photo was taken, it was actually out. Like, I had the window down of my car, so I snapped the photo, and then there was nothing, and then I just took one last photo, and then I got that, and I seen it for a split second, because my camera always shows what your last photo was, and then I was like, whoa, and then I went to go review it, and then my camera died. I mean, I couldn't even, it froze up. I had to pop the battery out and put it back in, and then it said low battery. Well, then as I left, and we got down, a ways away from the location, I had the battery was working. So then after that, we actually went back down to that area again and continued investigating, but we didn't catch anything else.
Wow, that's happened to me quite a few
smoking,
times.
No, nothing. I mean, it was just there. It's like, what was that?
Right. Well, it doesn't look like a breath mist. I mean, we've all seen them on investigations and smoking mists and stuff like that. It doesn't look quite like that. It looks like there's some dust particles in there, possible, well, I wouldn't call them orbs or dust particles in my opinion, but we all know that I'm the killer of dreams.
Well, and then orbs are really hard to, get behind, and
right.
that right there is spirit energy.
Right.
It is.
And,
You know? It's like,
well, you know. But yeah, that's fascinating because that's why when we take pictures as well, we do in a row as fast as we can. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and then
so you
some
get before,
cameras,
during, and after.
Yeah, some cameras have the settings, so it's just
Right.
easy. It just automatically does it.
The camera that my Tyler broke did that.
Yeah.
Remember? We just hold it down. It's like click, 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 click. It was great. But Tyler dropped it at Bear World, and now it's gone.
Stupid bears.
Silly kids.
I know.
So, but yeah, that's a really interesting photo because it doesn't look like mist to me. I mean, it looks like a possible mist, but not like a smoking or a breath mist.
Well, see, that's the hard thing about when you get, videos or pictures or anything like that. If you're not there,
right?
You can go, yeah, well, that's cool,
right?
You've seen, mist or breaths or whatever a million times, but when you're there and
right,
then you're like, I know.
That's true dat.
Yeah, you're like, I know. And so, if you've got a good reputation, and then people are more likely to believe you. And I think these guys do. I know we've got some pretty good, evidence from you guys. We do have one, though, and it's a video of your camera, and it tilts the screen tilts up. I mean, what was that about? Where were you? And, how did you discover that?
I'm trying to think of which one it is, to be honest, because I've had that happen at a few different locations. I think if it tilts up, I'm thinking that's actually the Holdridge Museum, which is it's in Holdridge, Nebraska, and it's an IR camera, and we've had some activity actually earlier that night. A laser grid actually, it just fried itself. Yes, can you walk through it, and then 4 seconds later, it just was dying, and so I thought the batteries were dead. Well, it actually fried the whole thing, and then as we're over replacing the batteries, the camera starts to move and tilt up, and we're at a complete opposite side of the museum.
Wow.
Camera moves.
Yeah, and we're showing right now a picture of, we did just show a picture of you using the laser grid in your home, but right now let's go to that video of the camera moving. It's like slow movement and then up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then up.
Yeah, it's short 80, so. Wow. You don't get to see that very often. That's something where it's like, okay, you can't deny that the camera moved.
Right.
You just can't. You can say, well, I don't know what moved the camera, or if anybody was in the area, you can say that camera moved.
That's right. Well, and if you know where your team is.
Right.
And it
I wish I would have sent the second video clip that I had now that I got to thinking about it, because I actually have another video clip that shows where we were at that time. So you could see that it wasn't nobody on the team.
Yeah, that's
I should have sent that.
That's the beauty of the DVRs. You have 4, 5, 6, however many cameras that your DVR system can hold, and then that's where everybody is, and that's what's really cool about them. I love the DVRs.
I do too. They're useful.
Heck
Very,
yeah.
very useful. And you can show where everybody is because everything has the same timestamp. Everybody has the same timestamp. Well, in this next picture we have it actually was in your episode of My Ghost Story. It's that, what is it called? The picture name?
It's the weird photo.
The weird photo.
The weird. Yeah, tell us about that.
Like the mist or what it looks
like.
Yeah.
Looks like almost a spider web.
Thing that showed up.
That's cool.
And this is at your home, right?
Yeah, that's actually in my upstairs living room. We were just snapping photos, and we happened to catch that, and my first thought was, it's a spider web. Well, then I went over there and checked, and there's nothing there, and then
so cool.
We snapped another photo, which A&E doesn't show, but it's actually on the other side of the room towards the doorway, and then after that, it was gone. So we have 2 photos of it.
And one side and then the other side of the doorway.
Yeah, one where it's on the wall, and then the other one, like, completely, basically from where the camera angle is, it would be, like, right behind me.
Huh.
So I turned around, and after because I walked over to that wall and I checked to see if there was a spider web, and I snapped a photo and there was nothing there. So then I turned around and I snapped a photo, which would be looking to where I was originally standing, and it was right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you take a picture of that, you take a picture like that, and you're like, damn, that is a big-ass spider web. Somebody give me a broom. And a big old shoe.
Seriously, huh?
Crazy.
And then
I mean, you could look through it, and it's like, I mean, it just looks so weird, and I've never seen anything, to be honest, I've never seen anything like that out of all my years of investigating. So
it's like Batman. It's like a Batman signal. In your home, or I mean, what made you take a picture over there?
Well, we kept hearing what sounded like talking, so we just decided to start snapping photos and audio at the same time, and we didn't get anything on audio, but we just happened to catch that on the camera. So
Well, I wonder if that's ectoplasm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
And then you know what I was thinking was is the whole spiderweb thing. Well, I've actually tried to recreate it. I found an actual spiderweb, and I actually took photos at different angles and stuff, and it looks nothing like that.
Well, it has more of a
I tried to find a way to disprove it, but I can't.
Yeah, it looks fluffy.
Yeah, it looks fluffy, like
fluffy and just squishy.
Squishy, soft.
Yeah, just soft like you know, like a cotton ball, just or a cloud.
Dispersed, like a cloud, because it does. That's really interesting.
Cool. That's a cool one.
Really cool. What else do we got over there, Iggy? Was that it?
I know we didn't play the news commercial that showed them.
Yeah, let's get to the news commercial that shows you guys, because you guys are local celebrities, really.
Yeah, that's fun.
People are calling you all the time to do things. You're doing all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, it's cool. We're going to go ahead and play that now. Go ahead, Iggy.
A local group of ghost hunters will be featured on national TV, and Hastings is the city at the center of it all. Tonight's episode of A&E's Bio Channel's My Ghost Story will be based out of Hastings, Nebraska. TRIP, the Tri-Cities Research and Investigation of the Paranormal, is airing one of its local investigations on the national network. In the spirit of the show, News 5 went to the street to see if anyone has had any ghostly experiences. It didn't take long until we ran across Stephanie Thompson, who says her experiences with the paranormal started at a young age.
Our house that we lived in when I was growing up was just a little bit odd, and we felt like there was some kind of a spirit or presence there. A lot of us had nightmares at night. Nobody actually slept through the night until we moved to a different house.
It doesn't end there. Thompson was the director of the Red Cloud Opera House for some time and said she saw stage lights coming on and off and heard chairs moving around in the afternoon. Tonight's episode of My Ghost Story airs at 8 Central on A&E's Bio Channel. Don't get too spooked, Jen. A local group of ghost hunters.
Don't get too spooked, Jen. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, you have a new thing coming up that we just talked about while we were on break, that you are going to be doing some filming.
Yes, it's actually going to be, well, it's a TV series, and it's called Interdimension, and what we do is it's almost kind of like a soap opera. It builds off of each episode and stuff, and there's some stuff that is like the sci-fi side of it, and also true paranormal investigation, also off of a true story. So it has, it's all kind of a big mix of everything. And we start filming for that here in November. So
that's cool.
I'll be posting that on our website and Facebook and Twitter, so everybody will be able to see when it'll be out and they can watch it.
Yeah, that sounds way cool.
That'd be fun.
It'll be like a series. So are you going to be part of the whole series or just the beginning part?
I think there's just a couple episodes or an episode in there that will be in. So
that's pretty
cool.
cool.
I think it's not the whole complete thing that I know of, unless something were to happen later on that she were to, I guess my friend Kasha would say, you guys want to be in this more or do some more stuff. So.
Well, yes, Cammy and I do. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Heck yeah. We're up for anything.
Oh yeah, just throw it away.
But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, like I said, we're in talks with some other major networks and possibly our own TV show.
Yay!
Every Wednesday or Thursday night. So
that would be cool.
You need to keep me updated on all that stuff. You need to keep us updated because we'll have you back on and we'll talk about it and sport it and all sorts of fun stuff.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
That'd be
So
awesome.
you had mentioned that you're actually going back to this Lady of the Night?
It's actually, the museum, it's called Yesterday's Lady. And that's
Yesterday's Lady. My bad.
Museum. It has like all old clothing and type stuff in the museum. It's really neat. But yes, we actually go back there the 28th, so.
Wow, that'll be fun.
That would be fun. I love museums.
So do I. I could go and just sit in a museum all day. I really could.
Oh, man.
I really could.
They have an awesome smell. I'm all about smells. They have an awesome smell to them, and then just the history and just the weird things that you find. Like the Utah Daughters of the Pioneers Museum, when we went through that, there's the death hair thingies, the wreaths, and remember the gal made a hair portrait.
My favorite was the mirror, the big huge mirror that's like 3 of me. That was, the back was made of diamond dust. That was really cool.
Those are awesome.
That was really cool. I'm like, is this insured?
And the thing about like the museums also is they, not besides the investigation plus the history, plus sometimes they give you the perks of, like when we investigated the Air and Space Museum, they actually let us sit in the actual plane.
Ooh.
And stuff, and we actually got to sit in, they have a NASA Apollo space shuttle there.
Wow.
So they opened up and we actually got to sit inside of it. So
I love that stuff.
Crazy.
I think I had Cammie get in the old.
You made me climb up that freaking covered wagon. That was so tall.
I need a picture of this. Get in there.
I had to climb up onto this covered wagon seat, and it was seriously, how high was it up there? Like maybe 10 feet?
It was.
I swear, I was like climbing up there. And the guy was like, "Here, let me help you."
He was
okay.
really nice.
He was very nice, but he was like so concerned because it was really high up and it was very dangerous.
Well, it didn't help that it was on like a stage as well. You have to a 3-foot hike and then 3-foot step and then to get in. Those things are big.
Yeah, it was like you had to carry your whole house in those, so and your family.
It was like Paul Bunyan and his great ox carried it because it was massive, and I made Cammie climb up in there.
She did.
I
wonder where that picture is.
I don't know. I'm like, I'm crippled. I can't do it, so you do it.
I'm like, okay.
Then she gets up to it. She looks like this tall. It was huge. I love museums and getting into places like that because of the weird perks you get.
Well, not just that, but you find out history that you never know will help an investigation later on down the road.
We have run into that recently.
We have. So, yeah. I mean, it's like...
That's right.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, the history that the people don't really know because they don't. I mean, how many people go into the Utah Daughters of the Pioneers out here?
Well, and not just that, but the people that run it. I mean, they are passionate about it. They really are huge on the history, and they find everything that they can, and they talk about it, and they love to talk about it.
Well, and that's how you find out the information, like where the Indian lookouts were.
Yeah,
and you find out that. Well, there's a haunting where.
Right. I mean, we didn't get out of there for hours because we were willing participants to listen.
Right.
Hours.
Hours
and hours. They talked. And then they pass us on to somebody else to talk to us too.
Right.
They're like, hey, no, let's bring you in so that they can, you could hear about that. That was just, I love it. It was a lot of fun.
I love museums for that.
Me too.
People, the history, the things that you don't think that will come in handy. Mm-hmm. It's good history to know that you won't find in a history book.
Right.
You just won't.
Yeah, things passed down.
That's right.
I love it. But guess what, Kathy? It's time for us to end the show. Guess what, Nate? It's time for us to end the show.
Oh, that's too bad.
You know what? It really is. We could talk forever about this stuff. I mean, it's fascinating.
Days and days and days. And there's so much more in your house that's going on that we didn't even touch the surface, and we could just sit here all night like this. Really? Yeah. And then what?
Yeah, if we didn't have to host, we'd just be like, what?
I mean, we didn't even show everything, so that's just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a hair. I mean, you've been living there for years. You know, Paranormal Activity started 3 weeks into the move, after the move. So,
yeah, 2008. Well, we're going to have to get you back on, Nate, and we'll have to talk about... Maybe we can get, like, a panel together of people who live in haunted houses.
Yes, let's.
Yes, let's.
Yes, let's.
I think that would be fun.
Email us. WWPN1@hotmail.com.
Don't forget the one.
Don't forget the one. The number, not the written out.
The number.
Right.
So I think that would be a lot of fun.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Okay, Nate. Okay. Well, we'll keep in touch with you, and we'll set this up, and we'll do it. It'll be fun.
That'll be awesome.
It'll be a lot of fun, because there's some stories out there. Whew.
It'll blow your mind.
I know. Things that these ghosts do. I'll tell you what.
They're tricky little critters.
Yeah. Well, Nate, thank you so much. Say hi to all the rest of the team. Actually, let's put the rest of the team up there.
Hold on, let's do a
There's
team
a
pic.
big
There
picture.
we go.
Yeah.
And you're actually in the news thing, it looks like.
There, I almost forgot about that. It's a cute picture.
Yeah, that's Nate and your wife. Go ahead and tell us, everybody, who's in there. Who's in your team?
I guess which photo
The one
is
that
it?
you have the news behind
you have the news, and you got all your paranormal team out there.
I think there's only 4 of you in the team, isn't there? Or 3 of you.
Oh, 3 of us? Well, then it's me, Chris, and Chad. And then the rest of the news team.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a really cool picture, by the way.
That's great. And real quick, one last time, how do people get a hold of you?
They can contact me on my website at tripparanormal.com. They can email me on there, or if you'll want to talk to me on the phone, feel free to give me a call.
Great.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, it's been awesome talking to you, and we really appreciate your time. I'm so glad we finally got you on the show, and that you're out of disclosure agreements and all that. And all that, because man, that bummed me out.
I know, huh? It was hard.
For sure.
It was hard. All right. Well, Kathy?
Yes.
Who do we have on next week?
Mandy Sue.
Mandy Sue.
Mandy Sue Fleming.
Mm-hmm. Great story. Talk about... I mean, the dangers of paranormal investigating. You can get yourself in some crap. You really can.
Right. We've known Mandy for years, and we just love her. And she has, she's part of another team, and the name escapes me at the moment.
It's Maryland.
I totally knew that.
Yeah, they're Maryland.
Marylanders.
Yeah, the Maryland Society of Unexplained Phenomena.
You're so good. Look at you.
Well, it's like our old team. That's why.
Oh, that's right, because they have almost the same.
Exactly, almost.
That's right.
So it's easy to remember. Easy to remember. So everybody, next Tuesday, same time, same place. Right. Nate, thank you again, and I can't wait to have you back on.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Can't wait to be back on. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Nate. We appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.